Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. This video is going to be this diagonal peyote wrap bracelet, and I'm going to put this on for you because I know I can get this one on camera, which is very unusual for me if you watch my videos. So that was easy enough. Okay, so there it is. I think it's a really pretty wrap. It's got, I've got a big open peyote loop here, which I like a lot because it gives some openness to the bracelet. You know, you can have the open part in front or in the back, you know, just play around with it. You know, it's going to, you can play with it, you can put it on the way you like it. It wraps around twice, I kind of like it like that. It's got this component here for closure, and it's just, here I'll show it to you, it's a hammer disc, and it's got a hole in the top, and I just put a bead through, if you can see right there, and I attached it with just a couple of seed beads underneath. And I don't think you can see that now, but you will in a few minutes. So it's very easy to make. As I said, I left this open intentionally because I thought it gave some interest to the bracelet, and it's a pretty peyote loop. So here's the black one, and I've gotten lots and lots of requests to make this. So I know that there's a lot of diagonal peyote out there on other channels, but you have requested it, so I'm going to make it. So that's the black one. And what's interesting about these, I just want to show you real quick. I know my intros are long, but you know you can skip and go to the let's get started part. So the black one, the inspiration for that was, it was in the winter and it was dark, and I just, you know, it was just kind of felt good to use. I love black and silver. I mean, that was more than anything the inspiration in beads. Black and silver is probably one of my favorites. I've been using it a lot lately, and I used it on this. I made these a while ago. So then I have this one. This is a sort of, you know, a rusty color, and I know all of you that have seen it on Facebook and requested it, you see it on my, what I call my Sedona rock, and it was when I went to Sedona, Arizona, and I brought that little rock home. I thought it was so beautiful. I mean, that's Sedona. If you haven't been to Sedona, Arizona, or if you live there, it is probably one of my favorite places on earth. I love it. I wish it was, you know, parts of it weren't so touristy, but I mean, you can't help it. People love it. They're going to come, and there's something about those rocks that they're compelling. You know, I spent many days climbing and walking around and just, you know, sitting at Bell Rock and you know, the other rocks, just gorgeous. I mean, it's just so amazing. It's like going from Earth to the moon or something. It's so different and so gorgeous. So anyway, this was the inspiration. So I saw, these are some of the colors, and, you know, at night, actually not at night, just when the sun starts to creep down a little bit, the mountains glow, and I can't say enough about Sedona. It's gorgeous. This bracelet is my homage to Sedona. So there's the Sedona version. So that was my inspiration for this one. Okay, so if you haven't been to Sedona, try to get there. You know, my husband and I are close to, you know, our kids are grown, and we're close, sort of, not retiring, but you know, we're at the age where they can start, excuse me, to take some more trips, some trips together, where, you know, everything else was raising children. So, you know, we've done a few trips recently, which has been really nice. Okay, so this one was made, I won't put it on, I'll just close it. This has a smaller peyote loop, and what I've done here is this bead is actually from my stash from probably 25 years ago, and it looks a bit like a shell, so that's why I used it. So this bracelet was inspired from the beach, by the beach. We went to an island, and for the first time, and it was the water was this color. It was just amazing, amazingly gorgeous. The sand was really more of a white pink. It was just so pretty. So I made this one because I was just, you know, I was inspired by the beautiful colors of the Caribbean waters. They're just so gorgeous. I mean, yeah, it was gorgeous. So that's that one. So we have a few inspirations there. And then I have the green and the purple one. And the inspiration for that was that I had some green and purple SuperDuos left over. And I love green and purple together. So I did this one. And this one has this sort of funky looking green bead. And this green bead is from, I've got to position it a certain way to get it off. There you go. This green bead was from an old curtain that had some beads hanging from it, and it was torn, and it was, you know, it was ready for the, you know, for the recycle bin. And so I took all the beads off of it, and I found this really pretty green glass bead. So I thought, okay, I've got that green glass bead. I have a few of these left over. Let's make use. I love this color. You know, the sort of olivey green. It's really one of my favorite colors. I make a lot of things in this color. So that's that one. So that was sort of inspired by, you know, something around the house. So there you have it. Those are the 4 bracelets. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I've got a little bit of a cough. So pardon me for that. So there we go. So today we're going to make it in, I'm going to use another color. I will post these colors in the description box below. I think this one was probably the most popular, so I will definitely post all of these colors. Or find an inspiration. If something inspires you, that's what's fun about using the SuperDuos. They come in so many colors, and doing this bracelet, it's very fast because I think it's about 15 inches long. I'll use my bead mat. My bead mat is 14. Well, this one's about the entire bracelet, you can't see what I'm doing, but so I'll put it here. The entire bracelet is about the length of my bead mat. That's including the clasp. But the way you're going to figure it out is as you go, you're going to wrap it around your wrist. And you're just going to find a comfortable spot. This does not have to be tight. This can be loose, because the only thing it will do is it'll just move around, so that you'll you know, it'll come down on your hand. It's hard for me to get it down because my camera's in the way, but it'll come down. So you want it loose so that you can play with it a little bit. You want it to go around twice. 3 times, I mean, you can go around 3 times. It's certainly up to you. I'm just going to do it with twice. So that's the bracelet. I just wanted to say, I know that some of you, I always check Facebook every day, and I know that some of you are, here, I'll move these out of the way, and we'll get started on that in a minute. And I don't want to keep going back to things, but I just want you to know that this one's coming. I'm going to try to make a video on this one this weekend. So just, you know, be patient, and that one will be along. It's a little more detailed, so I want to make sure I have all the beads, and I want to make the entire necklace with you. So that one I think I will be able to get done this weekend. So let me show you the materials you'll need. So you're going to need SuperDuos, and what I'm using for my first color, so you need 3 different colors of SuperDuos, is Pastel Montana Blue. Okay, and then for your second color, you're going to need, this is Sapphire Vitril Matte. So this is a matte. They actually, these are both matte. Did I say that on the first one? Pastel Montana Blue. It's a matte bead. It's not shiny. And then for the third color that I'm using Pastel Light Gray Silver. Okay, so those are my 3 colors, because it's a 3. You see, I've got black, I've got clear, and I've got sort of a, it's hard to see it, it's actually a gray in there. That's a deep gray in there. So it's 3 colors. You'll probably see it better on you know, Sedona. Although the 2 middle colors are similar, you see there are 3 stripes. Okay, all right. You'll need a size 8 seed bead or 2 size 11s. I say use the 8. I use the 8 for, let me get this down here where you can see it. And this seed bead is size 8 matte metallic midnight blue iris. Okay, and that's a size 8. If you want to use, see the 8 is used here. Okay, in the peyote loop, and it's used to attach, it's just a little V attachment. It's used to attach the little component. Okay, and then I put a little 8 on the outside. Okay, so you'll need that. You can use 11s if you want. Oh, also one thing I forgot, you need a size 15-0 seed bead. So I think for this one, I'm probably going, maybe I'll use, I'm going to try this one. This is a new seed bead. It's called Ceylon Pale Gray, and this is a size 15. You could use a size 11. This color is, it's really kind of pretty. It's silver, but it's like a gray, and I think it might look nice with this. Or you can just use a black one. That's what I used on this one. I used black. So you're going to need the little component. That's where you can get at any bead store. It's called a hammered disc, but it has a hole. Or any button would look great. I mean, you could put any button that you might have, you can put on this. That would work too. You're going to need some 8-pound fire line. Okay, and let's see, a size 10 beading needle, and I think that's it. Oh, one more thing. If you want to do this, the black one, and you want to do this this sort of peyote loop, you need a size 10 Delica. That's what I'm using. I think you could use 2 size 8s. You don't really need to go for the size 10 Delica. That's just my loop. So you can peyote this with just size 8 seed beads, and it will look just as pretty. But I used a size 10 dark metallic nickel on the black one, and I'll use it on this one. But as I said, it's really optional. You don't really have to don't order this unless you need them. Use the 8s, the seed beads, and make the loop that way. Okay, so that's it. So why don't you get your materials together? Oh, we need a stop bead, which, here, we'll pop this guy out. Okay, so why don't you get your materials together, and we'll get started. Okay, we're back. So in the interest of you being able to really see the diagonal part, I switched up the blue vitriol with this sort of raspberry color. And I look at the color, it's actually Pastel Bordeaux. So this way there'll be enough contrast between the colors, because as I was sort of making a little sample of it, even I was having trouble seeing the difference in the blues. So, you can, make it with the vitriol, and I think it'll look beautiful, because I like the blending rather than the super contrast. But for video purposes, this is going to be really pretty, and it's going to be easier. Okay, so I've cut about a wingspan of fire line. So that's like stretch your arms all the way out, like you're about to, give somebody a giant hug, and stretch the fire line from the tip of finger to the tip of the other finger, if you can. If if you're more comfortable working with a smaller amount of thread, then we'll add some thread on. Not a big deal. So before I do any project, I take my fire line and I take my flat nose pliers and I flatten out the end. Doesn't matter what project I'm doing, I'm using fire line. I'm going to flatten out the end, because fire line is round, and the needle, and I'm a righty and I tend to thread the needle rather than bring the needle to the thread. So the fire line is round, and your hole here, you can see that, is sort of like a flattened oval. See how easily the thread goes through when you flatten it? I have spent so much time fighting over trying to get thread on my needle, and it's simple as just flatten it out. It even works better than thumbs. Some people use their thumbs to flatten it out. To me, this is just perfect. Just flatten it out with the flat nose pliers. Okay, so I've got a little stop bead. This is a little pearl. Doesn't matter what it is, you just want to keep the beads from falling off the end of the needle. Pull your thread through, go up through the bottom. So you've got that, your stop bead on. Now I'm going to leave about 12 inches. My bead mat is 14, so that's about 12. That way if I want to use it for the clasp, maybe even a little more, maybe 14. You know, that way I have an option of putting the clasp on with the rest of the bracelet, you know, or adding a thread to put the clasp on. So I always like to have the option. I think about it, and then I decide to do it as the end approaches. Okay, so the needle is threaded. So this is what we're going to put on the needle. We're going to put one of the blue, or your first color of SuperDuo. I'm going to take an 8-0. Your second color of SuperDuos, an 8-0. And then your third color. Now a really good thing to do, which I didn't do with these, is check and make sure both holes are clear, because actually this is kind of red, white, and blue. So this would be great for the 4th of July, sort of a version of red, white, and blue. But check your holes and make sure that they're both open, because I have many times have been in the middle of a project and then one of the holes is stuck, and it's stuck with you know, it's just when they make them, sometimes they don't come out as, you know, the material gets stuck in there and it doesn't come off, and it's really hard to get it off. Sometimes you can poke it out and sometimes you can't. Okay, so they've got that on the needle. You've got a SuperDuo, an 8-0, SuperDuo, an 8-0, and a SuperDuo. Take 3 15s, 15-0s. That's for your side. Go through the last SuperDuo, the top hole, and pull. It kind of pulls everybody together. Okay. All right. So just in the interest of, you know, comfort for me, I'm going to put my tail at the top. So I'm going to take the SuperDuo that I'm coming out of, the same color, and I'm going to go through the second hole of the next SuperDuo. Okay. I'm going to take the color I'm coming out of. I'm going to check both holes. I'm going to go in the next SuperDuo. Okay, so that's 2. Okay, and then you've got the third one, the blue one. I'm going to take the blue one. I'm going to drop that down like so. And I'm really more comfortable holding it in my hand, so there we go. Okay, so there you go. That's what you have so far. Take 3 15-0s, come around that SuperDuo. Again, you're decorating the side and you're hiding the thread. Okay, so now you're going to take the bead that you're going into. Look at both holes, they're clear. Go through that one. Okay, you see we're already starting a diagonal pattern here. Take the bead you're going into. And that one looks a little clogged. Put those aside. You see that? Yes. And go into the next SuperDuo. So need your third bead. That's the navy on the end, or the Montana, whichever you want to call it. Okay, I'm going to bring that one down. We're going to add 3 SuperDuos. Oh, 3 15-0s. Bringing them around to the top of that bead, the top hole of that SuperDuo. And you've got the next one on. So now, take the bead you're coming out of. That's the blue one. Put on another blue one. You're coming out of the sort of raspberry Bordeaux color. Go through, ouch, the next one. Yeah, I do that a lot. Always poking, I'm sure you are too. Okay, take the bead you're coming out of, Check the holes if you haven't. Bring it down. Get back to this side. Okay. See how fast it grows when it's a SuperDuo? It just, this, you know, once you get going on this, it goes really fast. So I've got 3/15-ohs. I'm coming around. So now I want to take the bead. See, now you can tell if you've gotten a bead on incorrectly. Because if I put a silver one there, then it's going to make a different pattern. I mean, it'd make a beautiful pattern. You can make a million different patterns. You can actually, instead of just doing all diagonal, go up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, it's endless what you can do as far as colors and as far as, you know, adding little things here and there. But this is just the basics right now. Okay, so we're going to take the one we're going into. I'm going to check that, the hole on that. Looks good. Going to come through that bead. Take the color you're going in, the next color that you're going into. Let's find one that's not clogged. Looks good. That's the Montana or navy. Put that one on. Okay. So we need a bead here. Look on the other side. That's the last bead. The silver is going to go here. So you're going to pull the silver down. Try not to drop your project like I do all the time. Or it doesn't really matter. Just pick it up. 3/15-ohs. 2, 3. Go down. Silver. Okay. Give that a little, sometimes they get a little loose, so give it a little tug with your finger. And you've got, this is what you have. Okay? So now take the bead you're coming out of. You could flip this or not. I'm just going to leave it this way now. I think it'll be easier. And get that one going. Okay? The bead you're coming out of. That one goes on. Bead you're coming out of. Hole looks good. I'm going to bring that down. Oops. Take 3/15-ohs. Is what you have. So you see how easy it is? You get the stripe you're getting. You know, it's really, once you get going, as I said, you know that, well, I'm not going to put another, you know, red one or raspberry color here because then we'll be too next to each other. So you have to pick up the bead that you're going into. So you're going into the blue, put on the blue. You're going into the silver, check your holes, go into the silver. Okay, and then you need your last bead to start your next row. See? So you're going to look at here at the red one. The red one's going to go there. Okay, bring that one down. Three 3/15-ohs. Top hole of that SuperDuo. Okay, so the bead you're coming out of, because you want to do the one you're going into, because it will be silver and it won't do the diagonal. So you want to do the one you're coming out of, starting another row with that one. The bead you're coming out of, check the holes. Don't forget to check the holes. Okay, the bead you're coming out of, put that one on. Going to take 3/15-ohs, 3, come on, 3, go through the last, the second hole of that last SuperDuo, do it one more time, the bead you're going into, check both holes, goes next. Okay, and so do you see how the bead you're going into would go next? Because to make a diagonal, you wouldn't put any other color here but this raspberry red one. So right now, you know, you're pretty much, if you make a mistake, you're going to know it. Okay, so when you get to this part, you're going to look across here, and you know you've got your two, the silver and the red going. You need a blue one over there. So just look across when you put it on. Yep, need a blue. Check the holes. Bring that one down. Okay, because you're starting a blue row again. So actually, maybe you can look at these and say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a diagonal row. So once you get to 6, when you start the blue again, you'll know that the blue goes here. I just say just look at the other side, and that's where you know where the blue, or you know, the first color goes. 3/15-ohs. Now that sounds a little confusing, but I'm telling you, once you start it, you'll totally get it, because you're creating all these rows. So you have to, once you have rows created, you go to the next color and create that row. Okay, so go on from here. I'll stop here because it doesn't. You can just go off on your own and do it, and I'll do more of this, and I'll meet you back here in a few minutes, and we'll start putting on the clasps. Okay. Okay, we're back, and I've gotten a little bit done. See how fast it goes? I mean, I just went off camera, and most of the time when I do a video, I'll do one part one day, or when I have time this day, or whatever. I'm just doing this all at once. I'll probably make just a single, and that's so cool that they're sort of 4th of July colors. But I mean, you could wear this not 4th of July because it's not a bright red, white, and blue. But I still think it could be 4th of July. So you could make this in an evening. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit more with you, and then we'll come back and we'll do the clasp. I thought it might be, for beginners, you might want to, you might want a little bit more instruction on it. Okay, so here we've got our row, our diagonal row of the silver. Okay, so we're going to pick up the color. Check your SuperDuos that we're going to go into. So that's the red, or the raspberry. Put that one on. Pick up a blue one. Check the holes. Put that one on. And see, this is where I'm thinking that it's possible that you might get confused. So in order to know which one to put on here, it's almost like you're going in a circle. You want to add this one, or just go directly across from where there's a space right here, and make sure it's the bead at the other end. Or you could think of it as a circle. Like what would be the next one? Let's say I had another row. So I would be doing this bead. So this bead would go here, and I'd start rows again. Now I hope that didn't confuse you anymore. But just the easiest thing is just to look at the other side on this particular row, because you're starting another grouping of this color. See, the last grouping of this color of the silver is here. And then the next grouping, so you're going to add one more to this one, you're going to add more to this, but you're already starting a new row with this. So just look on the other side. That should be the bead you're starting with, okay? And you'll be able to tell if you've made a mistake, because this is, it has to be a certain way. You can't fudge it. So however you, whatever you do, the beads are going to go on in a certain sequence. Otherwise, it's not going to be diagonal, okay? So that's going to go there. So now we want to put the bead on that we're coming out of to start the next diagonal. Okay, so now I'm coming out of the blue. Do you see how if I put a red there, here I'm going to put a red there. I just want to make sure you've got this. I mean, sometimes I over-explain, I know, but sometimes it's helpful. Okay, so if I put a red one there, do you see how it would make a pretty pattern, but we're not diagonal peyote anymore. We're doing like a V. So that's how you can tell. I mean, it's so obvious when you're doing this what bead goes on next. Okay, so take the bead that you're coming out of, go into the next bead. Okay, take the bead you're coming out of. Okay, so you see we're almost done with our row of this berry color, and you know that's the one you want to put on because it's the end. You're coming out of that color, so there you go. Add 3 seed beads. Go back around. Okay, so there we go. So we're starting anew. So now we have a complete row of the berry color. Okay, so you want to sew now. You want to pick up the bead you're going to be sewing into, which would be a blue one. Okay, see how that makes the diagonal? You want the bead you're going to sew into. It's the silver one. Check the holes. Really check those holes because I missed one a minute ago and I had to off camera and I had to take it out. Okay, so here we are. So what are we going to put right here? We're starting another row of the raspberry. So we're going to put the bead that's directly across right here. So you're starting each row. Each row has, I think we counted them, 1, 2, 3, 6 beads in it. Okay, so you want to start another raspberry. Look at this side. You see the raspberry is there. Put the raspberry in. Take 3 seed beads. Okay, come around. Cover up the hole there. Pull it in. Get real tight. Okay, so you're coming out of the raspberry. Put on another raspberry. It looks like raspberry to me. I mean, I know it's called Bordeaux, but it looks like raspberries. Okay, coming out of a silver. Put on a silver. Coming out of a blue. Oops. There you go. Blue goes down. Okay, so that's going to be 3 15-ohs. Okay, see? Go through the top of the blue. And there you have it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope that you can, just rewind as you go along, and if you have a problem, once you get it in your head, it may take a little time to get the idea in your head of where to put what beads, but once you get it, it's like an aha moment. So, and then you could diagonal peyote anything. You could do, look how you could do a really wide diagonal peyote. How pretty would that be with SuperDuos? Make it twice as wide. Make it this wide, and then and make them like in a V pattern. How cool would that be? I mean, there are so many options here. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish your bracelet, and I'm going to finish mine, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the clasps. Okay, we're back. So I've gotten a piece done, and I'm going to make mine just a single bracelet because I want to get this video up, and in case somebody wants to make it for July 4th. Just loving our country. Just great things happening. At any rate, okay, so I wanted to do the last row with you. So here I've done my turn, right? So the bead I'm coming out of, the bead I'm going to put on, come out of is the bead I'm going to put on. Bead I'm coming out of is the bead I'm going to put on. I'm going to put on my 3 15-ohs. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come around. Okay, so that's my last row for me, for my bracelet. Now, when you make the wrap it around your wrist, and this clasp with this big loop, well, you have to have a big loop because it's got to go over that. So with this big loop is about 1 1/4 inches. 1 to 1 1/4 inches. So leave that much space at the end of your bracelet. I don't know how long that's going to be for you. For me, my beaded portion of the wrap is 13 inches, and then this is another inch. 13 and a little bit, it comes out about 14 1/4. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I know I look at things and I say, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be beautiful, just making it in a in this sort of arrow pattern. You know, just do a double and be gorgeous with this. See, it's endless. I'm just giving you the basics, and you just go crazy from there. Okay, so we're going to put the this end of the clasp on. So it's just very easily put on with some seed beads. Okay, so I'm going to do it with you. So I'm coming out of one end. I'm going to take a size 8 seed bead. Come on, little size 8. And I'm going to go from that SuperDuo that I'm coming out of, going through the top of the next SuperDuo. Take another 8 seed bead. I'm coming out of the top of the Silver SuperDuo. I'm going to go through my raspberry red one. So this is what you have left. So it looks sort of unfinished. You can't put another SuperDuo there because it will stick up. And this, when you look at this, I mean, it's not really, it doesn't even show, but when you look at it, it's sort of, you can't even tell that it's, you know, it looks very even and straight, even though there's a SuperDuo. There's not another SuperDuo at the end here. So to do that, we're going to take 3 of our 15-ohs. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm trying to not get too shady here. It's again one of those rainy days, and it's the inside of the house is you know, I'm not getting the nice sun from my windows. Okay, so you have 3 15-ohs. Okay, so you want to go, you're coming out of the top of this SuperDuo, this red one. You want to go through the bottom of it, not the one next to it, that same SuperDuo. You want to go through the bottom of that SuperDuo. You want to go through the top of that next SuperDuo. You want to go through the bottom of the next SuperDuo. So tops and bottoms, because you know it's zigzagged there. So you're going through the bottom of the red one, the top of this white one, the bottom of this white or silver one, and the top of this blue one, and then you're going to go right through to the bottom of that end blue one, and you're going to pull. And you see how that pulls it together, and it gives it kind of a, you know, an edge, and so it looks, you know, it looks sort of like it's finished. So now what I want you to do is turn it around, and I just turn it around because it's easier for me to work this way. And I want you to go up the 3 seed beads on the side. That's 1, 2, 3. Go through the SuperDuo and out the size 8 bead. Okay, and make sure I went through the size, the 8. Actually, I think we want to go just out of the SuperDuo. Well, let's see how that works out. So then take 3 size 8s. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? We have 3, 4. So take 4 size 8s. Pull them down. Go through your little component. Add a size 8. I'm going to try and just throw on a little O bead happen to have sitting. Oh, that's kind of bright. Let's see, let's try the other side. Okay, so I'm going to put on this O bead, and then I'm going to put on, let's see, a size 8 and see if I can see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to put the size 8 on. Okay, so then I want you to go through, I want you to skip the 8, go through the O bead, come through the hole, and through the first 8-0 on the bottom of the component. Okay, and pull. So how did that come out? Well, that looks okay. It's got a little opening, maybe. I'm trying to see if that will, probably a size 11. would fit better there. So let's put it in because I like this bracelet. So I'm just trying, you know, a few, you know, different things here. And I know, I always go off, but off track, but I can't help it. So I'm just going to grab a size 11 bead, and I'm going to grab just like any white, if you have a white one, that would be great. I'm just going to grab this little curly colored one and see if that works. This is semi-matte silver lined Miyuki. Okay, so let's see if that goes. So I'm going to put that little white seed bead on. I'm going to go through the O. Oh, that's a little better. Oh yeah, that works better. Oh yeah. Okay. Come through the bottom. First 8-0 and pull. So that's how that's going to look. I think that looks great. Okay, so here you are. Make sure you keep this pretty tight. You want to take 3 8-0 seed beads, and you want to go through the first 8-0. You see that on the bottom, the SuperDuo and the 8-0 that are on that last row, and pull. And see, you've got your little V, you know, 2 legs of your clasp. Now let's reinforce. Go up the 3 8-0s. You can even do this with 11-0s, I think. I mean, I think I did 11-0s on the other, but I thought I'd just, just maybe this would make it a little stronger. Oh, I came right out of the 11-0. Did I? Let's see, I need my glasses for this one. No. Okay, so then come through the 11-0. Go back down the beads underneath, so that you're going back down the O bead if you put one on, the 8-0, that's at the, the very edge of the clasp, and the 3 that go down. Now do this, do it again. So I'm going to leave you to keep going around. Do it 3 or 4 times, okay? And until your clasp is nice and secure. You want it to be really secure. So, if you need to rewind, get that done, and then when we're done with this part, we'll come back and we'll put the loop on. Okay, we're back. So I have gotten my button, disc, whatever you want to call it, on, and I've done 3 passes. That's all I could get through. Sometimes the O bead, sort of, it gets a little stuck, but see how many passes you can get. Maybe you get more. So I'm coming out here at the bottom, and I just want to tie in my thread here. So I'm going to go back through this SuperDuo, the 8-0, the SuperDuo, the 8-0. I'm going to go through this SuperDuo, go through the 3 seed beads. Okay, now my tail is a little stuck, so let me pull that out. Okay, and then I want to tie it in a little bit. So I'm coming out of these 3 seed beads. You see that? I'm trying to get my shadow out of the way. So I'm going to come through that second row of seed beads, of SuperDuos. So I'm kind of snaking my way through. Come through this one, or come through 2 of them, because it's tight in there, but you want it tight. You don't want a loose bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to go around, and maybe I'll tie a knot here. So I'm going to come through this blue one. I'm going to grab a piece of thread, okay, put my needle under it, make a loop, make a half-hitch knot, okay, and then I'm going to pull it through another SuperDuo. I'm going to go through another one, Okay, maybe make a little half hitch knot here. Just make sure you don't get caught around a bead, that it goes in between. I'm going to go through this one, back up this one, and just sort of snake your way around. I'm going to come back through the 3 seed beads. Just find a path, okay? I'm going to go through a couple of these again. I'm just going to tie a knot here, and I think at that point, if I can get one, maybe we'll come through one more. No, it doesn't want to go through. So just snake your way around a bit. I got a little tight here because of my the knots I had put in, so I'm just going to tie one last half hitch right here. I mean, this, the beads aren't going to go anywhere. And if I can get through this last SuperDuo, I will. If I can't, sometimes here's where you could actually break a bead, or you can pull it through with your pliers, which I did, and I'm so glad I didn't break a bead. And I'm just going to, at this point, I'm going to burn off my thread. So, just snake your way through as I did. Make sure, no thread is showing. And then I'm just going to use my thread burner, which I really like, and I'm going to take that thread off. So we're done with this side of the clasp now, okay? So there you go. Side one. So now we want to get the second side on. So I've taken off the stop bead, and I've threaded a needle onto my tail. I'm just going to use the tail and hope that I have enough. So leave that long tail if you decide, if you're just watching this first and then you're going to make it later, don't forget to leave that long tail. Okay, so I need to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to take my 3 15-ohs. I'm going to come around, make sure I'm in frame, and through the bottom of that SuperDuo. Here, I'll do one at a time. So see, that's bringing my the little picot on the edge. Go through the top of that SuperDuo. I'm going to go through the bottom of this and the top of that. Your needle will slip through. Okay, I'm just going to switch it. Well, let's go through the end one first. Okay, so where am I? I'm over here. I'm going to go through the last SuperDuo. Okay, like that. So I've just come across. See how it comes together, and it looks like, again, it looks like like it's finished on that end. Okay, so I've turned it around. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go up the 3 little 15-ohs on the side, and I'm going to come through the SuperDuo. So we've come around and we've done our end here to make it look as straight as possible, and we've come out of the SuperDuo. And so in order to do this loop, we want to add a number of, if you want to do this exact loop, of 10-oh Delicas and 8-oh seed beads. That kind of pretty little pile there of all different colors. So I think I have about 30 on there, 31. So just put on enough so that you can get your component through. So we can do this part together. So I'm going to put a Delica, a seed bead, Delica, a seed bead, a Delica, an 8-oh, Delica, an 8-oh, Delica, an 8-oh. Make sure you're not putting 2 of anything in a row. Just make sure, just check yourself, because I've already messed it up a few times. Delica, an 8-oh, Delica, an 8-oh, a Delica, 8-oh, a Delica, an 8-oh. Drop those down. I don't think we're long enough yet. A Delica, an 8-0, a Delica, these little 15s, an 8-0, a Delica, an 8-0, a Delica, an 8-0, Delica. Let's see how that looks. I'll measure it with my other clasp. Looks like I could probably use a few more. So I'm going to put another 8-0, another Delica, 8-0, and another Delica. Okay. So that's going to get me pretty much the same size clasp there. Okay? So you can count them. So take your needle, and you're coming out of this 8-0 here. You're going to go back through the 8-0 on the other side. I'm going to circle the SuperDuo and the, do them one at a time. So there we go. You can even test your clasp at this point. So the 8-0, I'm going to go through the SuperDuo and the other 8-0. So you're just going around, okay, to make a loop. So there's your loop, okay. So 9 frames. So let's see if I'm pretty certain that this is going to fit, just because I've made so many of these. And yes, let's see. Yes, it will fit. So now if you want to peyote this, what you want to do is now you can reinforce this loop. I'm not going to because I'm running out of thread, so I'm just going to peyote right away. So I'm going to take a Delica. I'm coming out of this 8-0 down here. I'm going to skip this Delica. I'm going to go up my first 8-0. And I'm going to pull. That should sit those two Delicas together. So I'm going to take a Delica. I'm coming out of this 8-0. I'm going to skip this Delica. I'm going to go up the next 8-0. And there's my phone. I apologize. I usually turn my phone off. Only I forgot to turn my phone off this time. So you're going to hear my phone ring. You're coming out of this 8-0. Skip the Delica. Go up the 8-0. Okay, so that's what you want to do all the way around. Coming out of this 8-0, pick up a Delica, skip the Delica, go up the 8-0. Okay, so just keep doing that. You can do this all in 8-0s. Just make sure you don't go up 2 beads. Sometimes I do that. I've done that a few times. So I'm just going to go a little bit faster here just to get some of this done. So all I'm really doing, when you do it with the Delicas and the 8-0s, you know exactly which bead to go up because it's just going to be that 8-0. So you don't have to, you know, you don't have to kind of count anything. Say you skip this or whatever. So you're just going to keep going through those 8-0 seed beads. Okay, go through the same one through twice, 2 of them, so go through the 8-0 seed bead. Okay, need my glasses. Just do. It's one of those things about getting older. You end up needing your glasses, which is fine. So keep going. Pick up a Delica. Skip the Delica, go through the 8-0. Hopefully I'm in some sort of frame here. Okay, I'm just going to turn it around a little bit so it's facing me and easy for me to do on camera. So you probably whiz right through this. Delica, go through the 8-0. Pick up a Delica, the 8-0. Delica, go through the, we're coming towards the end, the 8-0, pick up a Delica, go through the 8-0, Okay, so you're still going to have one Delica left there. What I did with my other one is I just sort of added one and went through. See how that works. I think that's what I did. I made these bracelets a long time ago, and I didn't write a pattern for them, so I'm sort of figuring it out as we go. So there you go. So just, add one on and pull through your, your 8/0, your SuperDuo and your 8/0, and then reinforce this because it's a little loose right now. So you want to just make sure that you should like reinforce it first, and then it'll be nice and tight. Okay, so there we go, because you don't want to go through it again. So I'm going to go through the SuperDuo. I know that was confusing. I didn't really mean it to be. This is going to tighten it right up going through the SuperDuo, you see. On the black one, before I did the peyote, I did 2 passes around the loop, but I was running out of thread, and I knew I wasn't going to make it, so I wanted to, get the video done, so I didn't reinforce. But now I'm just going to go around like I did on the other end, and I'm going to reinforce a couple of bits here. I'm going to go through here. Okay. Now I'm going to pull tight. I'm going to grab a thread from underneath. You just stick your needle in there, and you'll be able to get under a thread. Do a 1/2 inch knot. Go through a couple more SuperDuos. It's getting a little tight. I'm going to try to get through that one. Okay. Try to get through just this one more. Like so. Now you do a few more. I'm just going to tie a 1/2 inch knot right here. Don't get it caught around your end. And I've lost my needle, so I'm just going to put it through with my fingers. Like so. There's my little 1/2 inch. I'm going to make sure it goes through there. Now, I don't like to burn off or cut anything off at a knot. So I'm just going to rethread my needle. Which doesn't want to cooperate. But it will. You keep doing your reinforcing while I try to get my needle threaded. Okay, so you see, this is the frustration I say that you don't need to deal with. So I'm going to squish it down again. And I'm going to go through. Okay. So I've come out of that white SuperDuo. I'm just going to pull through the blue one, just to pull the knot in a bit. So that's all I'm going to do. You keep reinforcing. I'm going to burn this off. Come on, you. Okay. I love my little. Okay, so my battery quit. So I have maybe 3-4 minutes before it's going to go again. So here's our bracelet, or all our bracelets. Here's the bracelet. Here's the single. I'm going to close it. Okay. That's how it looks. Okay. Pretty. I love, the double, the wrap. I think the wrap is the prettiest. So there you have it. You have your beautiful wrap bracelet. Not difficult at all. Fun project to make, like I said, even with a daughter. There it is. I like the wrap, so I'm going to put that one on. Here's the other one. Pretty. Here are the other 3. So enjoy making this bracelet. You can do the red, white, and blue one, and you can just do a single, and that way you'll have it for the 4th of July, or just like you're just hanging out at night. It's really easy to do, so you can just even be watching TV and doing this. So thank you for joining me. If you're in the USA, happy 4th of July, and I will see you on the next video.